Hello everyone, welcome to Danny CAD Academy. My name is Danny Joseph and I'm going to be your tutor for this training. In this edition, I'm going to take you on SolidWorks from the basic down to a sufficient level. And in this edition, I'll teach you how to make your model and also take you through some parts in assembly and also give you some glimpse on 3D printing. So for the sake of this model, we are going to do some 1 or 2 training on SolidWorks. Now in this SolidWorks, this is actually what it gives you. And if you are my student, I presume you must have had the SolidWorks installed on your computer. And should in case you don't have the SolidWorks, there's a link description that I'll put in this video, where you're going to go there and learn how to install the SolidWorks by yourself. So in that, I urge you to follow the step accordingly, which will make you to get the SolidWorks installed in your system successfully without any hassle. So without any further ado, let's begin our training. Now this is SolidWorks. This is our welcome screen, and in this welcome screen we have the things that these basically are the things that SolidWorks have for you. And in this welcome screen, there are some things you're going to see there, like the parts, assembly, drawing, and the rest. So all these things are things that I've designed before. These are my history. So if this is your first time you are doing SolidWorks, you will not, literally all these things will be blank, you will not see anything. So but in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to make your first model in SolidWorks. So now before I continue, I urge you all to get a mouse for this training, because the mouse is going to help you to make this your model look very easy. So in case you don't have a mouse, that's not a problem. It's going we have our touchpad in your system, and also the buttons below where you're going to make use of, so it works as the same as your mouse. But if you want to make your job very convenient for you, I urge you to get a mouse, and it's going to, trust me, it's going to make your job very easy. So now let's get straight to the training. Now in this part is actually an item in SolidWorks that gives you the chance to make your model from the sketch level. And also this assembly is an item in SolidWorks that gives you it gives you what it takes to assemble your part. So should in case you want to design a car, and in the car it has so many components like the engine block, the piston, the door, the windscreen, and the rest. So assembly gives you what it takes to join those things together to form a car. So literally this is actually what it gives you. And the next thing is the drawing. So in this drawing, should in case you want to give your model a plan, like the first angle, the second angle, and the third angle projection, this is actually where all these things are being carried out. So maybe in case you design a model and you want to give it some dimension for some analysis, this is actually where you need to go to. For the sake of this video, this is where we're going to start from now, and this I'm going to do that by double clicking, and then it's going to take us to our part. So now in this SolidWorks, this is SolidWorks 2022, and SolidWorks 2022 is what we're using. But in case you have a SolidWorks on your system already, you can use the same thing. Everything you are working with is working. Everything that I'm going to teach you, it works for previous model and also works for the future model. So be you a solid having a Solidworks core for 2023, 24, even 25, it still has the same function and it's working. And as well, it works for the model like 2021 and 2019 below. So now this is literally the thing that you're going to see in your part. Now in this part, I'm going to, there are some basic items that you need to know for your SolidWorks modeling. So before I continue, I urge you to get your pen and your book to write these things down, because they are very, very essential in your as you work you'll be designing your model. So the first thing in the item is the menu bar. So this is my arrow, so I'm going to take it straight to the menu bar. Now this is the menu bar. As you can see, the thing has folded up. I take it back, the menu bar appears. Now in the menu bar, this is actually what it gives you. We have the file, edit, view, insert, tools, window. Now inside this menu bar, it has their particular component. Now inside this file, this is what you get, like the new, open, recent. So under this file, this is actually what it gives you. So literally this is actually what it is packed under file. Now in edit, this is actually what it gives you. These are the things that are packed under file, same as the view, the insert, the tools, the window. So in case you want this menu bar always paste in your system without disappearing, you just go to this place and you check this button. So as if so once you pin it down, it's going to stay there without moving. So this is actually the menu bar. And in case you want it to be hidden, you just go to this pin and then you uncheck it, so the menu bar fades away. So the menu bar is actually hidden. The menu bar is actually hidden under this particular section. So the next point is the next item you need to know is the standard tools bar. So this is the standard tools bar, starting from this place that look like this icon that look like a home, to this point, to this one, and also to the rest. So this is the standard tools bar. So in this standard tools bar, it has item under it which you need for your model. So literally we are going to need them as you design your model. So these are the things that the standard tools bar has for you. And then the next item is the command manager. So this is the command manager. So in this is the command manager, like the feature, the sketch, weldment, markup, elevate, dimension, SolidWorks add-in, and the MBD. So these are the standard tools bar. So in this standard tools bar, there are items inside a particular standard tools bar. For instance, this is the item under sketch. So under the sketch, we have the smart dimension, the things you need for your drawing, and also these are the things, and also the rest. So everything is packed under the sketch. So and next thing is the feature. So this is actually what is packed under the feature, same as the weldment, the markup, and also the rest. So these are the standard tools bar, and in the standard tools bar, it has items that are packed under there for your modeling. So this is actually literally what you need to know about the standard tools bar. So the next thing is the heads up tools bar. So this is the heads up tools bar. This is from this point to this point. This is the heads up tools bar. So this is actually the point. This actually have their own functionalities. So we're going to be needing them as time goes on. And next thing is the task pane. So this section is the task pane. So they also have their own function in SolidWorks, and you'll be needing them as time goes on. So the next thing is the search bar. So this is the search bar, and so the search bar gives you access to the items you need in SolidWorks, direct access to SolidWorks. Maybe should in case you are looking for an item and you couldn't find it in any of these section, you just head straight to here and dial it and it's going to work. For instance, maybe you want to look for this particular item called extruded boss base, and you can't find it anywhere around this section. You just go to this place, you go to a search bar, you go there, and then you head straight to your keyboard, you press extrude. So from the word extrude, anything that falls under letter E is going to show. So for instance, we have the extruded boss base, the extruded surface, and the convert to extrusion. So literally anything that has to do with extrude will show. So from there, you just have to pick the things you need and then you go out. So literally SolidWorks has so many items that you need for your model, and it's not ideal to be packed in this it's not ideal to be packed in this section because there are so many. So if in case you need any of them and you don't know where to find them, you just go to your search bar and you dial in those things you need, the words you need, and it's going to bring it out for you. Now the next thing is the graphics area. So this is the graphics area. This is where your modeling takes place. In my own terms, I call it my virtual drawing paper. So maybe you should, in case if you are an engineering student, you know what I'm saying. Drawing board. This is where you take your dimension, you take your sketch. So this is actually this is where your modeling takes place. And the last thing, okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is the feature manager tree. So this is the feature manager tree. This thing is very essential in your modeling. This actually gives you the history of what it took for your model to take place. For instance, maybe you ended up designing a cube, and you know to get a cube it must begin from a perfect square, right? Now in that, so it's going to give you, so it's going to record the steps for it record the steps in which it took to get to the point where this perfect square becomes a cube. So it's all stored in this feature manager tree. So in that feature manager tree, you have, this is where you have your front plane, your top plane, your right plane. So depending on what you want to do, they are all stored in the feature manager tree. Okay, so another thing that I'm going to show you is this section. This is where your SolidWorks is actually calibrated to. So based on my installation, I ensure that the SolidWorks is calibrated into millimeter gram second. So in case your one has been calibrated to any of these aside from millimeter gram second, there's no problem. What you need to do is just to check in the things that you want to check in the calibration you want your SolidWorks to be done to, and it's going to take you there. So for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to make use of millimeter gram second. So I'm going to check it, and then our model now is being converted into millimeter gram second. So I think this is literally the basic the items that you need to know for your model. And then as time goes on, I'm going to show you some complicated one, and then how you're going to use it to how you're going to use it for your modeling activity. So now let's begin our first model in SolidWorks. Let's start designing something. Now if you want to design your SolidWorks, anything that comes to your mind, anything that your mind can assume, it can be drawn here. You are not limited by space, you are not limited by resources. Anything that you want to do, anything you want to design, be it in existence or non-existence, this is your chance to do your design and it's going to work perfectly. But before you do that, I'm going to teach you a simple thing that you can design, and the step to design it won't take long. So I want to design a cube. Now if you can picture a cube in your mind, you know that a cube is a model that have all sides being equal, right? So now I'm going to design a cube, and let's see how it's going to look like. Now before you design a cube, how do you design a cube? First thing first, you take your arrow to your design, your feature manager tree, you select your plane, right? So in that point, this is the plane that you need to go. So in this plane, it gives you the liberty to choose the plane you want. For instance, if you want to start your drawing from your front plane, your top plane, or your right plane, this is actually where you can start your design from. So for the sake of this tutorial, let's go to our top plane, but you can start from any plane. There's no penalty for that. You can start designing from any plane that you want, but so there's no big deal about it. It just depends what you want and what you want to start your model from. Now I'm going to click my front plane. So once you get your front plane, what do? You go to, so if you are using your mouse, you take your arrow to this place, you right click. Once you right click, there are some options that is going to display there. Then in the option you see sketch, and in case you don't have a mouse, you use your control panel to drag it to the front plane. Now in the button below, you right click and then you take it to the place called sketch. Once you got your sketch, then you double click it, and then it's going to take you to your front plane. Now the front plane is facing us right now. That is, the front plane is actually where we are right now. Now you can begin your drawing. So I'm going to draw my model starting from this place. So I'm taking my arrow to the command manager, and this command manager, I'm going to take it to the sketch. Now inside the sketch, this is actually what we have, and then you can begin our sketch by using a line. That is, once I click the line, the arrow becomes something like a virtual pencil. So once you have got to your graphics area, you just take it to anywhere that is convenient for you. Then you left click either in your mouse or in the button below your touchpad panel. Once you click, don't just touch it again. Once you click, your arrow has formed. So you drag it to any point you want it to go in SolidWorks. Once you are done, once you draw to a convenient level, then you click it again. You can see. Okay, let me take it back. You draw your line, right? You click it, you take it down, you click it, you drag to this point, and then you click it. Now there's something about SolidWorks. In case you want to draw your line and you are sure that your line is straight, it's going to signify. It's going to give you it's going to show you a description below, and that is that yellow thing behind my virtual pencil. So it shows that my line is straight. So maybe something makes me to deviate, it's going to disappear. So that shows that I'm not moving in a straight line anymore. So in case you want to move in a straight line, you just continue in that flow, and then you are sure that you are in a straight line. So there are some assistance that SolidWorks is going to give you. So once you know that you have got to the right place to stop your line, to make sure that your line intersects with the line above, it's going to give you a construction line, which is vertical to the line that you are currently in. So once I get to this position, then I stop. Then I drag again. I touch it. I make sure that it connects with the initial line, and then this is actually our sketch. Now this is actually a rectangle, and I aim to make sure that I achieve a cube. But at this point, let's see how we can convert this rectangle into a 3D model. So from there I'm going to delete it, and then we're going to draw a cube. So as it stands now, we have drawn a rectangle. Now there's something that SolidWorks will show you. If your sketch is closed, that is, if at any point in your SolidWorks your sketch is connected, this place will indicate something shady. It shows that your sketch is no longer open. That is, it is due to be converted into a 3D model. So now, how do we do that? How do we convert this thing into 3D model? You take your arrow back to your command manager. Then in your command manager, you click feature. Mind you, we're actually in a sketch mode in the command manager. Now you click your feature. So in that feature, you move to extruded balls base. Then you click your extruded balls base. Now your rectangle has been converted into a 3D model. This is actually what it was. It was once a rectangle. Now this is what it is. So depending on what depending on the extent of your extrusion, if you want to take this direction, this is where you can take it to. Now you can see I can customize my extrusion by literally clicking this arrow and then dragging it to where you wanted to go, or I can customize it to this particular point. So if you can just observe from this point now, once I take my arrow to this point and I drag it, it's going to increase in millimeter, right? That is, as I increase or decrease, it's going to change. So this is actually now, it is being recorded at 250 millimeter. So what if I say I actually wanted it to be in 300 millimeter? What do? You just click to you go to straight to your keyboard, then you click 300. Once you are done, then you click here, you click this, you check this place, and then you click it again, and then this is actually your 3D model. Now we begin by drawing a rectangle, and now it's being converted into a 3D model. So mind you, from what I told you about feature manager tree, now what did I actually did to get to this stage? These are the steps. So initially it was once a sketch, right? It was once a sketch. This is where the sketch began. This was a sketch, and then it's been converted into a 3D model. So it's not. So now at this point, the process has been stored and is being recorded in this history. So I can customize this thing from any of this point. So that is by the way actually. So this is actually where we are right now, and then this is our model. Now mind you, the aim of this tutorial is to make sure that we design a cube, right? That is, every part must be equal. So this is actually not what we need. I'm going to delete it. So in case you wanted to save this model, we can save this model and we draw our cube in the next next part that we need to do. So what do we do from here? I can actually delete it. So first thing, you take your arrow to this point, right? Once you take it to this place called the balls extrude, once you take it here, you right click. It's going to bring out all the options that you need to customize this particular model, but I'm not customizing anything. I want to delete it. So you see an option called delete, right? You press delete and then it's gone. So our 3D model is gone. It has returned back to a sketch. Now I want to delete this sketch as well. I don't need this sketch. I want it to be in a square, not a rectangle. What do we do again? You right click. It shows us all the options available, same as how it showed us when it was a sketch. Once it's gotten there, you press delete. Now everything that you've done is being wiped out. You are left with nothing. we actually we'll return back to where we used to be. Now we have to go back to what we need to the plane that we need to do for our project. So now the first thing we did, our first model, we will make use of our front plane, right? So now let's make use of our top plane to show that there is no penalty for making use of any plane you need in your SolidWorks. So now how do we do that? You just go to this place called the top plane, you right click, right, you go to your sketch, and then you left click. Now this is our top plane. This is actually our top plane. Now the top plane is lagging somewhere far from us. I want the top plane to be centralized where we can see it. How do we do that? You just move straight to this point. This is called zoom to fit in, right? You just click it. Okay, there is no, okay, it's not responding right now, but this actually is not a big deal. It's not actually a big deal. So we're just going to draw our model from there. So we're just going to continue in that flow. So we're now in the top plane, and now this point is our origin. This is where all of our model is being centralized. This thing is needed for your model. It might not be necessary for any model, but it's important you know where your origin comes from. It makes your work centralized, ensuring that your work can be adjusted at any point. So in order to achieve our cube, we need to draw it from the center. So how do we do that? You go back to your command manager. Under the sketch, you take it to this point. Now I'm not going to use my line because the line it takes time to draw a sketch for my line. You just head straight to our rectangle. So at this point, it is showing us corner rectangle. That is, if you click your corner rectangle, once you click your corner rectangle and you begin your sketch from origin, this is how it's going to look like. Right? Let me do it again. So your rectangle begin from a side. It begin from any side you want to. So this is actually corner rectangle, but I don't need the corner rectangle because I want it to be from a center. So I'm going to delete all these things, and then I'm going to take it back. So now I'm going back to my sketch. Then in this point, I'm not going to click corner rectangle. There's an arrow beside it. I click it, so it gives us all the rectangle inside the. It's going to give all the type of rectangle in this particular item. So I'm going to click center rectangle. So I'm taking it back to my graphics area. So this is the origin, right? I click my graphics area. Once I click it, you just drag your mouse, or maybe you're not, or for those who are not having the lab using the mouse, you just go straight to that point using your hand, then you click it, and then once you click it, you make sure that your hand is touching the control panel, right? And the other hand is touching the button, the left button below, right? So once your hand has touched the left button below, you can drag your hand in your control panel. Once you drag it and you have gotten to a satisfactory place, then you leave it. It's showing us what you want to do. This instruction is for those who do not have a mouse. So I'm going to do it again. You take your hand to the left button behind your control panel, your touchpad panel. You hold it firmly, right? Once you hold it firmly. Don't let go of your hand. Once you hold it firmly, you take your hand to your panel, your touchpad panel. Then you drag it. You drag your hand. So to any point you want to go into in SolidWorks. Once you are done, then you leave everything. Then it has stored for you. You see? So you can see that there's a more tedious process while using your hand. That is why it's instructed you use your mouse. So that is by the way. So now once I'm done, I'm just going to go to any convenient place, and then you take it back, so you can actually you can actually return back to, you can actually take this pencil off your graphics area by either going to this place, then you check your box, then it's back. So now for the sake of this tutorial, I actually wanted to draw a cube, not 3 cube. So I want to delete all this one. How do I delete these things? You can actually go to this point, you can actually go to your trim, or you take your arrow to this point, you click delete, you go to any of the points, you click delete, you delete. So you make sure that anything you want to do, you delete, you click all these things. Now everything is deleted, but if I know that deleting one after the other is going to take much of my time, what do? You just go, you take your arrow to any convenient space, right? You right click, you left click from your mouse, you hold it firmly. Once you hold it firmly, do not release your hand yet. You drag your mouse, making sure that this greenish highlighted space touches your model. Once it has touched the model, then you release your hand. So it has highlighted every part of this sketch for you in this particular point, right? So you right click, it gives you an option to delete. So once you click delete, everything wipes off, except of this particular point, but you can just delete it from there. So for those who do not have the mouse, I'm going to take it back to, I'm going to undo it so we can use it without our mouse. So I'm just going to go to this point, right? From the standard tools bar, this is the undo button. I click the undo, so everything is back. So I'm going to re-undo it again to the point where we begin everything from, right? So this is actually where we started from. So now I want to delete everything at once without you using clicking it one after the other, and this one is for those who do not have a mouse. So what do you do? As I've said earlier, you adjust your graphics area to any particular point. So you take what do you do first? You go to the button, you take your hand to the left button below the touchpad panel, you hold it firmly, and as I've said earlier, you don't let go of your hand, right? Then you take your hand to any part of the graphics area, then you drag your hand, right? You drag your hand to the left, you drag your hand to the left, you can drag your hand to the right. It gives you a different highlight, but once you drag it to the left, it gives you a greenish one, not a blue. So they actually have a different purpose. And then once you have covered all of the sketch you want to delete, once you cover, then you let go of your hand. So it has stored everything that it has captured. Every line that has been captured has been stored. So once you are done, then below the control panel, that is the right button, you click it, that is, you right click, then you use your control panel, your touchpad, you drag it to the point where you see delete. Once you see delete, then you click it. Everything has been wiped off. Now we are left with this particular model, this particular sketch. This is actually what we have left with me. So now this thing actually it actually looks like a perfect square, but we cannot tell it yet. We need to be sure of where it is right now, right? So now how do we make sure it's a perfect square? We're going to make sure that every part is being equal. So I'm going to give it some dimension. So the thing you need to do first is that you take your arrow back to your standard tools bar. Then in the standard tools bar, you take it to your sketch. Then in the sketch, you take it to your smart dimension. Once you get to your smart dimension, you click your smart dimension. Now your arrow is now in smart dimension mode. So at any point you want to dimension your model, you just go to that section. Once you go to that section, it has highlight, you left click, so it's going to give you the existing dimension for each of the sketch. So as it is now, this has been the initial sketch is recorded to be 95.33 millimeter. So I'm going to customize it to any dimension that I want. So for the sake of this video, let's just make it 95 instead of 95.33. So once it has been revealed the dimension, you left click. Once you left click, it's going to give you the option to customize the dimension you want. So I'm going to make it 95. Once it's in 95 and you are sure of where you are, then you check this place. This is now in 95, right? Now I'm going to customize. I'm going to dimension this point, the one at the horizontal line. So once it's been highlighted, you left click, then you drag your mouse outside, then it is showing us 118.97 millimeter. So I'm going to make sure it's 95. Then so once it's there, you take your hand to your, once it's there and it's showing, it has given us the option, you delete it, you backspace from your keyboard, you backspace, right? Then you click 95. Once you have done that, you check this button. Now everything is, this is 95, the horizontal line is 95, and then the vertical line is 95. So with this, we show that everything is now a perfect square, right? So once this line is similar with this, I don't think there's any need for us to customize this thing again. You understand? So once we've get to this point, you can see that the line now is no longer in blue. That is, it is now having a value, right? In case you want to customize this place again, it's going to show us a kind of problem. That is, your dimension now is over-defined. You have given it a dimension and everything look perfect, but so there is no need for you to dimension this part again, since you have 95. So for every reason, this should be 95. And so if you elongate this place and this place has been elongated, that is definitely this should be 95. So in this particular place, it's going to show you below that this sketch is now defined. This sketch is defined. That is, everything is now the same. So we have achieved that, making sure that this line is no longer in blue, it's now in black, and also this area is now gray black. That is, it is no longer the same with this, the graphics here is no longer the same with this one outside. That is, it is now a close sketch and it's now defined. So I'm going to convert this now into a 3D model, right? So we're going to convert this into 3D model. How do we do that? You go back to your standard tools, you go back to your command manager. Then in the command manager, you press your feature, and then you press your extruded boss base, just like how we did earlier. So it has extruded to 300 millimeter. Mind you, we are going to make sure it's a perfect cube. That is, the length is 95, the breadth is 95, and the extrusion, the 3D model should also be 95. That's actually what it takes to make it a perfect cube. So in your keyboard, once you're done, you just backspace, right? You press 95. Once you press 95, you just click this box, and then we have our cube. You can see how beautiful it is. So this is actually our first model in SolidWorks. If you followed my step accordingly, I think you can get this thing done as it is. So this is actually a model, and this is actually how lovely it is. You can see that this process is pretty straightforward, and I made sure that along the line I begin to tell you the importance of some items that you need to make sure that everything is being done perfectly. So there are so many things that you're going to learn, but as far as your first model is concerned, this is actually the thing that you can do, and I'm sure I've taught you how to do it. So if you have not getting it right, you still go back to you still rewind this video, making sure that every step that I told you is being followed accordingly. And in case you still don't understand, just type in your question in our WhatsApp group, and I'm going to respond to you where your mistake is and how you can correct it from. So this is actually this is actually a model, and the next thing we do is to save the model. So how do we save this model? You just take your arrow to your standard tools bar. So in the standard tools bar, there's this place called the save, right? So it gives you option to save your model. So I'm going to save my model by make sure I left click. So once you left click, it's going to give you it's going to show this box is going to pop up, and then in this box is going to show you the destination of the file that is going to be in. So for the sake of this SolidWorks, it has destined our file to be in the document. So anything you're going to save is going to be on that document, should in case you wanted to get your file back. So you just extract your document, and it's going to show you how to get it. And also in SolidWorks, since this is the part that you have started, SolidWorks is going to assume that this is your first part, and it's going to name it part 1. You can see. So in case you do another model and you want to save, it's going to show you, it's going to write it, it's going to write part 2 for you. So in case this is your part and you're sure that this is actually what you want to do, then you save. But if you want to title your model to a name of your choice, you just backspace, right? You fill in what you want to do. So maybe you want to give it a name called my first model, right? It's giving my first model, then it's going to give you option to save. Or maybe I want to give it a title called cube, right? So regardless of the font size, the title, the name of the font size, the alphabet, anything you want to save your model with, it's giving you the option to save here. So what next thing you do, what you're going to do is just to save, and then this model is saved successfully. So I think that's actually what is entailed.